You're tired. Your body is screaming. Your mind is begging you to stop. This is the moment most people quit. This is the moment average people turn around and go back to comfort. But you're not here to be average. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the test. Pain is the filter that separates those who wish from those who become. Every drop of sweat, every burning muscle, every sleepless night, it's all shaping you into something stronger, sharper, unbreakable. You think champions are born? No. Champions are built rep by rep, failure by failure, day by day, when no one is watching. When it hurts the most, when everything inside you says enough, that's where greatness is hiding. That's where you find out who you really are. Anyone can show up when it's easy. Anyone can give effort when they feel good. But champions, they show up when they're exhausted. They push when they're broken. They rise when they've been knocked down over and over again. Right now, you have a choice. You can listen to your excuses or you can listen to your purpose. You can give in to the pain or you can push through it and grow. Because on the other side of that pain is strength. On the other side is confidence. On the other side is the person you've been dreaming of becoming. Don't run from the struggle. Embrace it. Let it teach you discipline. Let it build your character. Let it remind you that nothing worth having comes easy. You're not just working out. You're not just grinding. You're forging a mindset that refuses to quit. You're creating a version of yourself that doesn't break under pressure. So when it hurts, good. That means it's working. When you feel like stopping, don't. Take one more step. Do one more rep. Go one more round. Because champions aren't defined by how they start. They're defined by how they finish. Push harder. Dig deeper. Become unstoppable. This is where you earn it. Pain has a way of showing up uninvited, testing limits and exposing weaknesses that often stay hidden in comfort. It is uncomfortable, sometimes overwhelming, and often misunderstood as something to avoid at all costs. Yet, within that discomfort lies a powerful opportunity. Pain is not just a signal of struggle. It is a sign that something is changing, adapting, and growing. Without it, progress will remain shallow and potential will stay unrealized. When the body is pushed beyond its usual limits, it responds by becoming stronger. Muscles tear under strain, only to rebuild themselves more resilient than before. Endurance increases when fatigue is faced rather than avoided. The same principle applies to the mind. Moments of stress, pressure, and difficulty challenge existing beliefs and habits, forcing a person to adapt, rethink, and evolve. Growth does not occur in stillness. It is born in tension. Avoiding pain often means avoiding progress. Choosing comfort repeatedly creates a cycle where nothing improves because nothing is challenged. While comfort may feel safe, it gradually builds limitation. On the other hand, stepping into discomfort, whether physical, emotional, or mental, creates space for transformation. It teaches patience, discipline, and the ability to withstand pressure. These qualities cannot be learned through ease. They are earned through struggle. Pain also builds awareness. It forces attention onto areas that need improvement. Whether it is a weakness in skill, a gap in knowledge, or a lack of resilience, pain highlights what must be addressed. Instead of ignoring it, facing it head-on allows a person to grow more complete. It becomes a guide rather than an obstacle pointing toward the path of development. There is also a deeper psychological shift that happens when pain is embraced. Fear begins to lose its control. The anticipation of discomfort often holds people back more than the discomfort itself. Once that barrier is broken, confidence begins to grow. Each time pain is endured and overcome, it reinforces the belief that more can be handled. Limits that once seemed fixed begin to expand. Endurance, both physical and mental, is built over time through repeated exposure to difficulty. It is not a single moment of effort that creates strength, but a series of challenges faced consistently. Pain becomes familiar rather than intimidating. It transforms from something to escape into something that signals progress. This shift in perception is crucial. When pain is seen as part of the journey rather than a threat, it loses its power to stop forward movement. Discipline is another result of working through pain. Motivation can fade quickly, especially when things become difficult. Pain tests commitment. It asks whether the goal is strong enough to continue despite discomfort. Each time a person chooses to push forward instead of giving in, discipline is reinforced. Over time, this discipline becomes a foundation that supports long-term success. There is also a sense of achievement that comes from overcoming pain. It is not the absence of struggle that brings satisfaction, but the knowledge that something difficult was faced and conquered. But this builds pride and self-respect. It creates a deeper appreciation for the effort involved in growth. Achievements gained without effort often feel empty, but those earned through struggle carry lasting value. Pain also creates resilience. Life is unpredictable, filled with challenges that cannot always be controlled. Developing the ability to endure discomfort prepares a person to handle these uncertainties with greater strength. Instead of being overwhelmed, there is a readiness to face difficulties with determination. This resilience extends beyond any single goal, becoming a lifelong asset. Growth requires change, and change is rarely comfortable. Pain is often the signal that transformation is taking place. It marks the transition from what is known to what is possible. By accepting it rather than resisting it, a person opens the door to continuous improvement. Each moment of discomfort becomes a step forward, shaping a stronger, more capable version of oneself. In the end, pain is not something to fear, but something to understand. It is a natural part of progress, a companion on the path to becoming better. Those who learn to work through it rather than run from it discover a level of strength that cannot be gained any other way. Champions are not defined by a single moment of victory, but by the countless moments of effort that no one ever sees. Long before the spotlight, before the recognition, there's a process built on repetition, discipline, and the willingness to continue even when progress feels slow. Success at the highest level is never accidental. It is the result of a deliberate commitment to improvement sustained over time. Consistency is the foundation of that commitment. It is easy to feel motivated at the beginning of a journey when goals are fresh and energy is high. The real challenge begins when that initial excitement. Showing up day after day, regardless of mood or circumstance, is what creates real progress. Small efforts repeated consistently build momentum. Over time, these small actions accumulate, leading to significant results that cannot be achieved through occasional bursts of effort. Discipline plays an equally important role. Unlike motivation, which can fluctuate, discipline remains steady. It is the decision to act even when there's no desire to do so. It means following through on commitments, maintaining focus, and staying aligned with long-term goals despite short-term discomfort. Discipline removes the reliance on feelings and replaces it with structure and control. It ensures that progress continues even on the hardest days. Pushing beyond limits is where transformation truly happens. Limits are often self-imposed, shaped by past experiences and perceived capabilities. Breaking through them requires stepping into discomfort and challenging what feels possible. Each time a boundary is pushed, it expands. What once seemed difficult becomes manageable, and new challenges take its place. This process of continuous expansion is what separates those who improve from those who remain the same. Failure is an inevitable part of this journey. It is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary step toward growth. Every setback provides valuable information, revealing what needs to be adjusted or improved. Instead of discouragement, failure can become a tool for refinement. Learning to analyze mistakes and apply those lessons creates a cycle of constant development. Over time, this ability to adapt becomes a powerful advantage. Patience is another essential element. Progress does not always happen quickly or visibly. There are periods where effort seems to produce little result, where improvement feels stagnant. These moments test commitment. Continuing to work through them requires trust in the process. Growth is often happening beneath the surface, preparing for breakthroughs that come later. Those who remain patient and persistent are the ones who eventually see the results of their efforts. Focus is critical to maintaining direction. Distractions are everywhere, pulling attention away from what truly matters. Staying focused means prioritizing goals and eliminating anything that does not contribute to them. It requires clarity about what is important and the discipline to stay aligned with that vision. Without focus, effort becomes scattered and progress slows. Mental strength is developed alongside physical and technical abilities. The ability to stay calm under pressure, to remain confident in the face of challenges, and to keep going despite setbacks is what defines high-level performance. This strength is built over time through exposure to difficult situations and the decision to face them rather than avoid them. It becomes a key factor in maintaining consistency and discipline. There is also a deep sense of purpose that drives sustained effort. Knowing why something matters provides the energy to continue when things become difficult. Purpose creates meaning behind the work, turning routine actions into steps towards something greater, strengthens commitment, and reinforces the importance of staying consistent. Support systems can play a role, but ultimately the responsibility lies within. External encouragement can help, but true progress depends on personal accountability. Taking ownership of actions, decisions, and outcomes ensures that effort remains consistent and focused. It builds independence and reinforces the mindset needed for long-term success. Over time, these elements, consistency, discipline, pushing limits, learning from failure, patience, focus, and mental strength, come together to shape a person into someone capable of achieving at a high level. The process is not quick or easy, but it is effective. It transforms potential into ability and effort into achievement. What sets champions apart is not talent alone, but their dedication to this process. They commit to the work, embrace the challenges, and continue to push forward regardless of obstacles. It is this relentless pursuit of improvement that ultimately leads to excellence, proving that greatness is built, not given. The hardest moments have a way of revealing truths that comfort never can. When everything feels manageable, it is easy to believe in strength, confidence, and control. But when pressure builds, when things begin to fall apart, and when the path forward becomes uncertain, that is when true character begins to show. So away pretense and forces a person to confront who they really are beneath the surface. In challenging situations, there is no room for illusion. Excuses lose their power, and intentions are replaced by actions. So this mindset becomes a defining trait, shaping how challenges are approached and overcome. The hardest moments are not just obstacles to be endured. They are opportunities for growth. They push boundaries, reveal potential, and build qualities that cannot be developed in comfort. By facing them with determination, a person transforms struggle into strength, creating a version of themselves that is capable, resilient, and prepared for whatever comes next. There comes a point in every difficult journey where the body begins to slow down and the mind starts searching for an escape. It whispers reasons to stop, to rest, to quit, and try again another day. These moments feel convincing because they are rooted in discomfort and fatigue. But they are also the moments that hold the greatest opportunity for growth. Continuing forward when everything inside is telling you to stop is what separates ordinary effort from extraordinary progress. The desire to quit is natural. It is part of human instinct to avoid pain and seek comfort. When exhaustion sets in both physically and mentally, the easiest option is step back. However, growth does not happen in ease. It happens when that instinct is challenged and overridden by purpose. Choosing to continue despite that internal resistance creates a shift in mindset. It teaches control over impulses and builds the ability to act based on goals rather than feelings. Mental strength is tested most during these critical points. It is not measured by how well someone performs when everything is going smoothly, but by how they respond when things become difficult. The ability to stay focused, to push through fatigue, and to keep moving forward under pressure is what defines true resilience. Each time this is done, the mind becomes stronger, more disciplined, and less influenced by temporary discomfort. There is also a deeper layer of self-discovery in these moments. When limits are approached, a person begins to understand their true capacity. Often, the limits that seem real are only perceived boundaries created by doubt or past experience. By pushing beyond them, new levels of capability are revealed. This expands confidence and changes the way challenges are viewed in the future. Effort in these moments carries more weight than effort any other time. When energy is high and motivation is strong, action feels easier and less significant. But when continuing requires determination and willpower, each step becomes meaningful. It reflects commitment and a willingness to go further than what is comfortable. This kind of effort builds a stronger foundation for long-term success. Consistency is reinforced through these experiences. Anyone can perform well occasionally, but maintaining effort through difficulty creates reliability. It builds a habit of persistence that does not depend on circumstances. Over time, this consistency leads to steady progress and lasting improvement. It transforms effort from something temporary to something dependable. There is also a shift in how discomfort is perceived. Instead of being seen as a signal to stop, it becomes an indicator of progress. Fatigue, struggle, and resistance are recognized as part of the process rather than obstacles to it. This change in perception reduces fear and increases willingness to engage with challenges. It allows for a more proactive approach to growth. Endurance develops as a direct result of continuing through these moments. Both physical and mental endurance are strengthened when limits are tested and extended. This increased capacity allows for greater performance over time. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and new challenges can be approached with greater confidence. Discipline is further solidified when action is taken despite discomfort. It reinforces the idea that commitment is not dependent on mood or energy levels. This creates a level of control that is essential for achieving long-term goals. It ensures that progress continues regardless of external, internal conditions. There is also a sense of achievement that comes from pushing through the urge to quit. Creates a feeling of accomplishment that goes beyond the immediate task. It builds self-respect and reinforces belief in one's ability to overcome challenges. This sense of achievement becomes a source of motivation for future efforts. Over time, these moments accumulate and shape a stronger, more resilient mindset. They create a pattern of persistence that becomes part of one's identity. Challenges are no longer seen as barriers, but as opportunities to prove strength and commitment. This mindset leads to continuous improvement and the ability to handle increasingly difficult situations. The decision to continue when everything says stop is a powerful one. It defines character, builds resilience, and creates a path toward greater achievement. Each time that decision is made, it strengthens the ability to do it again. It transforms struggle into progress and effort into growth, ultimately leading to a level of success that cannot be reached any other way. Struggle has a way of shaping the mind in ways that comfort never can. When everything is easy, there is little reason to adapt, to think differently, or to grow stronger. But when challenges arise, when obstacles stand in the way, the mind is forced to respond. It must find solutions, endure pressure, and keep moving forward despite uncertainty. This process builds a kind of strength that goes beyond physical ability. It develops mental toughness, a quality that allows a person to remain steady, focused, and determined regardless of circumstances. Facing difficulty repeatedly changes how challenges are perceived. Instead of being seen as threats, they begin to look like opportunities to improve. Each obstacle becomes a chance to test limits, to learn something new, and to become better prepared for what lies ahead. This shift in perspective is crucial. It transforms fear into motivation and hesitation into action. Rather than avoiding struggle, it becomes something to engage with, knowing that it leads to growth. Mental toughness is not something that appears overnight. It is built gradually through consistent exposure to demanding situations. Every time discomfort is faced instead of avoided, the mind becomes a little stronger. It learns that pressure can be handled, that setbacks can be overcome, and that persistence leads to prize. Over time, this creates a sense of confidence that is rooted in experience rather than assumption. There is also an important element of control involved. Struggle often brings with it stress, frustration, and doubt. Learning to manage these emotions is a key part of developing a strong mindset. Instead of being overwhelmed, there's an ability to stay calm and think clearly. This control allows for better decisions and more effective action, even in difficult situations. It prevents emotions from dictating behavior and keeps focus aligned with long-term goals. Discipline plays a central role in this process. It provides structure and direction, ensuring that effort continues even when motivation fades. Struggle tests discipline by creating conditions where giving up seems appealing. Choosing to stay committed despite these conditions strengthens that discipline. It reinforces the habit of persistence and builds a mindset that does not rely on temporary feelings. Another important aspect is resilience. Struggle inevitably includes setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. Developing the ability to recover from these experiences is essential. It's essential. Resilience allows a person to bounce back, to learn from mistakes, and to continue moving forward without losing momentum. It turns setbacks into lessons rather than obstacles, contributing to continuous improvement. There is also a deeper sense of awareness that comes from facing challenges. Pushing beyond comfort also develops adaptability. When new challenges are faced, the mind and body are forced to adjust. This process strengthens the ability to handle unfamiliar situations. It builds confidence in dealing with uncertainty and increases the capacity to respond effectively to change. Over time, adaptability becomes a key strength, allowing for progress in a variety of circumstances. Discipline plays a significant role in maintaining this level of effort. It ensures that actions remain consistent even when motivation fluctuates. Going beyond what feels comfortable is not always appealing, especially on difficult days. Discipline provides the structure needed to continue regardless of mood or energy levels. It reinforces commitment and keeps progress on track. There's also an element of sacrifice involved. Extra effort often requires giving up something else, whether it is time, convenience, or immediate comfort. These sacrifices can be challenging, but they are part of the process. They reflect the importance of the goal and the willingness to prioritize long-term success over short-term ease. This ability to make sacrifices strengthens determination and reinforces focus. Another important aspect is the development of resilience. Going beyond comfort inevitably brings discomfort, fatigue, and moments of doubt. Facing these challenges repeatedly builds the ability to endure them. Creates a level of toughness that allows for sustained effort even under pressure. This resilience becomes a valuable asset in both personal and professional growth. There is a sense of satisfaction that comes from putting in extra effort. It creates a feeling of accomplishment that goes beyond simply completing a task. It reflects a higher standard of performance and a commitment to excellence. This satisfaction builds self-respect and reinforces the desire to continue striving for improvement. Over time, the habit of doing more becomes part of one's identity. It shapes how challenges are approached and how goals are pursued. It creates a pattern of behavior that is focused on growth and continuous improvement. This pattern leads to steady progress and increasing levels of achievement. The results of extra effort are not always immediate, but they are cumulative. Each additional step, each extra moment of focus contributes to long-term success. It builds a foundation that supports higher levels of performance and greater accomplishments. This process requires patience and persistence, but it is effective. Ultimately, greatness is not defined by occasional effort, but by consistent action beyond what is comfortable. It is built through the willingness to go further, to do more, and to keep pushing limits. Every extra effort counts, not just in what it achieves in the moment, but in how it shapes the person making it. In the end, everything comes down to a simple truth: growth is earned, not given. Every moment of pain, every ounce of effort, every step taken beyond comfort is shaping something greater within. It is not the easy days that define the journey, but the difficult ones. The days when quitting feels easier than continuing. That is where strength is built, where discipline is proven, and where the foundation of greatness is formed. Those who choose to keep going, to push harder, and to give more than what feels possible are the ones who rise above the rest. Because in that relentless pursuit of improvement, a champion is not just created, it is revealed.